Welcome back, everyone. I hope you had a reviving break and are ready to dive into our second session of the day. We are about to embark on a weaving narratives into environmental education, the role and impact of storytelling in EVS. This session is crucial as it will equip you with innovative approaches to enhance environmental learning through storytelling. It's my privilege to introduce our esteemed speaker for this session, Ms. Benita Sen, a journalist and author with over 3 decades of experience. Ms. Sen specializes in writing for children and young adults. With a postgraduate background in English and sciences, she passionately advocates for the power of stories in education. Her award winning stories have been featured in English textbooks, and her recent EVS books, entirely based on narratives, highlight her belief in the transformative role of storytelling. Participants, a quick reminder, don't miss the exciting quiz as we have the quiz scheduled for tomorrow after the final session, and the winners will walk away with Amazon vouchers worth up to rupees 25,000. So be ready. And now let's go through the housekeeping rules. Participants will be muted throughout the entire session. Please ensure you have a pen and paper to note important information. The chat box will only be enabled during the Q&A round and as required by the speaker. To receive your e-certificates, please fill out the feedback form that will be sent to your registered email IDs after the session. And for those who haven't received their old certificates yet, don't worry, we'll get them by next week. And once again, a quick reminder about the quiz. We'll have the quiz tomorrow after the final session ends, that is 5:30 p.m. And we'll share the quiz link with you. So be ready for that. Now, without further ado, let's invite Miss Sain. Ma'am, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. And thanks to all the participants who have so patiently listened to what we've had to say. You are all my colleagues. As you know now that I have trained as a teacher in English and social studies. And one major reason I admire teachers is your class control. That is one reason I'd never dared get into a classroom full time. I have taught, but children don't seem to bother about me. Anyway, so I went back to writing for these young minds. Now, to come to our first slide today, um, it's the topic is weaving narratives or stories into EVS. It could be social studies, it could be EVS, whatever you want to call it. They can all be written around stories, taught around stories. The role and impact of storytelling in EVS. For the second slide, we know from the last 2 days that we discussed in detail what a story is and how many different types of stories there are. We also discussed the fact that anything new, any new method or any new path may seem a little intimidating at first to some of us, but then remember my friend the banker Ganeshta, if you were there on the first day, how he knew his subject, that is banking, and he just conquered his apprehensions by taking that training, and he was a pro at it for the rest of his banking life. So it's just that we need to change our approach to the classroom and see every lesson through the beautiful look of stories. Now, we also discussed how some stories can be long, some can be shorter, some yesterday, like I told you, my grandmother had just about 1.5 stories in her repertoire, and one of them was this little one that was Pipu Pishu. That meant these two lazy men who would just lie around even when their backs were burning. They wouldn't even speak in full sentences. That was her story. So, all of these stories, whichever mode or method, whichever approach we are using to grab the attention and the retention, both of students, involve what we call the 5 C's of storytelling. One is circumstance, or all the W's: why, when, where, what, how. If we cover most of these, we would have covered most of the chapter. Curiosity is the second C I would list. Suspense or a sense of hope. Try and bring in that. Now, what's going to happen? What is she going to say after this? That kind of anticipation. Just build it up if you can. We talked, I think, in the first day about body language, about, yes, of course, we talked about this phenomenal teacher, Chanda Bose, entering the classroom in a burst of energy. She would come, her sari pallu flying. I mean, that's how she walked. That's how I remember her walking in. And good morning, and she would start off. She inculcated the love of history in us, at least in me. And one day when she was not very happy with our class, she was our class teacher at one point. She did the entire triple alliance and the triple entente through formulae. This plus this equals this. This plus this equals this. That was a mathematical way of teaching history. So storytelling and history went very well, as she proved to us. Characters. What's a story without characters? Whether it is, I'm waiting to write in full a story for children about a dung beetle. I've been toying with this dung beetle. They fascinate me. When you look at a dung beetle, most of us would go, dung beetle. I mean, it's not a butterfly, okay? But even that dung beetle, you see how it labors on, how it walks, how many difficulties it faces on its path. And then very often I see it, on its back and struggling. The legs are in the air, all that drama. You could say it's almost pathos there. And then sometimes with help from me, or sometimes with no help from me, and on its own, it struggles and gets back on its feet and off its back and continues on its journey, on its mission. So if we are telling that story, see the drama in that journey. Conversations. Recently, one publisher I was writing for said she wanted the entire story as conversations. Whatever happened was conversations. She was so convinced in this fourth C. But of course, how much of it you want and how much of it you want to keep as running text is up to you. You are the best judge because it's your classroom, your subject, and you are the best person to teach it. So, from conversations, we come to conflict. As I said, that dung beetle marching along, there is conflict even in its life. There is conflict in every journey, sort of. It does not have to be a dishum kind of conflict, but there is a speed breaker in most journeys. So that would also qualify for conflict. Life is full of conflict. How can a story not have some conflict? In fact, if you go back after this and look through some of the basic stories, you may be able to uh, take a note of the 5 C's: the circumstance, or the all the W's: why, when, where, what, how is an H, but then we'll bring it into the school of W's. The curiosity, what's going to happen next? The characters, who are the characters in this story? The simplest story. You'll see, you'll get these basics. The conversations, I hope every story you look at would have conversations, or you could try and see what if I had added, as the author or the teacher, if I had added a conversation here. And conflict. How can a story not have some conflict? But you need to decide whether to leave the conflict resolved or unresolved. Now, if you resolve it, the students may come back, but if to your chapter, the curriculum, if you don't resolve it, they may be listening agog to what you're saying. Now she's going to come with the conclusion, what happened, haha. Or they may get totally distracted. So you are the magician on ground. You will have to read their expressions and see when to bring in that conclusion, which is actually a sixth C. There are many more C's we could include in the basics of storytelling. Could we go on to the next slide, please? The story behind solid steps. Now, um, solid steps happened. Maybe we go on to the next one as we get ready for the stories. Today, everybody is here to read stories. Uh, the third slide, please, then. Well, when the S. Chand team asked me to weave series of 2 starter books around storytelling, my interest was awakened. Storytelling, yes, I am a storyteller. And the age group suited me fine. Curriculum, I enjoy sharing knowledge, as and then I'm a trained teacher. So it was just a marriage of two interests. The books respect DEI. We talked about DEI on the first day: diversity, equity, and inclusion, which means we had to look at issues of age, gender, species. We've had to integrate them all. Not all stories are about our flat stories about the people, the human beings, but we created a microclimate that has come in so helpful. If we are on to the third slide, or the fourth slide, in fact, yes. This is how Minnie and Roby came into our lives. We thought of a little girl and a little boy. Now, if you see, both the names are four-letter words. They are short. They are not something like beautiful names, but we did not bring in Aryaman. You know, we wanted those names to roll off the tongues of our young learners. These children navigate age appropriate activities. We see to it we are bringing them outdoors also a lot, as NEP and CF is have suggested. We have made sure that their families are an integral part of these stories, which are actually curriculum. These are textbooks written through stories. These children navigate age appropriate activities. They are alert, they are affectionate, they are thoughtful, considerate, and aware. Um, I could go on to the next slide now. Yes, let me go there. This is slide 4. So the thing is, if I say that the books are delightful, you might think that I'm a little biased, the team, whatever. But I got a massive pat on the back from another publisher who, when these books hit the market, said, wow, we've been discussing this approach to curriculum covering. Remember, we were smiling at ourselves. We were always busy covering the curriculum or the syllabus. So this approach uh, has been unique. We'll share some chapters with you, which you may already have read from Solid Steps. Yesterday, we were reiterating the importance of visual impact in storytelling. Solid Steps books are illustrated meticulously so that the visuals do their own teaching. If you can, just look at the covers. There's Minnie and there's Roby, two little children who are busy in their beautiful world. This is actually, I'm holding up the book, and the illustrations have been done with a lot of precision and a lot of meticulous attention to detail. Well, so now without further ado, let's start on our story journey. We're on to the first story. It is actually chapter 7 in Solid Steps, Book 1, Part B. It is Let Me Take You Around, which is actually introducing the neighborhood to the students and the learners. It says, a car pulls up outside 25 Mango Road. We have kept all the names um, familiar to these children, these learners, and we haven't given them any name, a proper name that they need not have learnt now and that may trip them. Roby and I are playing hopscotch. I'm Minnie and I just love Minnie. Outside Roby's front door, out jumps a girl. Out step a man and a woman. They open the gate. You must be my new neighbor. I'm Roby. She's Minnie, waves Roby. He's a friendly little boy. I'm Dia, waves the girl. I wave back. Welcome, Dia. We know that we have a new neighbor. Her parents say, Dia, why don't you play with your new neighbors? So Dia joins Ruby and me. Now, of course, we being a textbook, we have Ask Me's, we have I Wonder questions, we have all that, but they are woven into the chapter to go on with the story. In the morning, we will be at the Diwali Mela, says Ruby. Come over, Dia, join us. Where will that be held? I don't know the neighborhood, Dia says with a worried look. She's just reached. Roby runs in to get a sheet of paper and a pencil. He's a helpful neighbor. Minnie and I will draw the neighborhood map for you, Dia. Take it with you tomorrow and you will reach the fair. Roby starts drawing. I think we have changed the slide now. And the next slide, I think you will see Roby drawing the map. Dia and Minnie are watching him draw the map. This is Mango Road. The park next to your house is Mango Park. Right next to your house, Dia. It is safe to play there without our parents, says Roby. It is uh, maybe a smaller town, or maybe it is on the fringes of a larger town, but city. But we have also brought in the safe or unsafe concepts. Walk straight till the end of the road. There it meets the main street. It is a busy road, so we never go there alone. The bus stop is to the right of the crossing. If you turn right from there, you will arrive at the bank. The bank keeps our money safe. So we're also doing neighborhood landmarks and what they mean, what they are there for. We've done the bank now and what the bank is for. After crossing the bank, turn left to reach our school. The teachers at school teach us how to read and write. Duck Park is after the school. We've got facts, as you can see, we've got a factopedia, gates, patrols, and security cameras help keep a neighborhood safe. That is more from the curriculum that is coming in. Ducks, says Dia. I love ducks. Can we go there now? We only go there when our parents take us, Dia, I say. But let us draw some ducks on our map. So there you are. They are children who have understood the concept of safety and of responsibility. They have their own responsibility of not running off without informing their parents or without permission from their parents. They're learning this young. Now let's show Park Street to Dia, I say. We color the road to the left of Duck Park. Next to it, we draw a market full of shops. The shops, of course, we now know what a market would have, the different shops. There are shoes, clothes, vegetable, fruits, like any bustling bazaar in our country. To the left is the post office where our letters come. There you are. To the right is the hospital that always has an ambulance ready to take sick people to the doctor. There's the post office, and here's the hospital with the ambulance. The ambulance, of course, has the Red Cross. Visually, also, the students are taking in these details. On the opposite side of the hospital is the police station. The policemen look smart in their uniforms. Oh, yes, they do. They catch thieves. Next to the police station is the fire station. We can see shiny red fire engines at the fire station. The Factopedia there says society clubs with a swimming pool and a restaurant also form a part of our neighborhood. So we have not forgotten any uh, different type of neighborhood. Coming back to the story, turn right and you reach the big park where the Diwali Mela will be held, Ruby says. So he knows maybe by, by traveling that route or living in that town for many years, or because his parents and his teachers have taught him the lay of the land. It is important for students to know their immediate surroundings. So Roby and Minnie definitely know that. Ah, what a busy neighborhood, says Dia. I'm sure we will have fun living here. Yes, it's bustling actually. There's so much to do. Mm, Every year we have a clean neighborhood contest. Last year, our neighborhood won the contest, I tell Dia. Now we have brought in, of course, health and hygiene, cleanliness. What can I do to help us win it again this year? Dia asks. Well, we keep our houses and gardens neat and clean. We don't litter the streets, and if anyone does drop a piece of paper, we pick it up and put it into the nearest trash bin, Roby tells her. Oh, I will try my best to keep my neighborhood clean, says Dia. So, with that, we come to the end of this story. Dia has now integrated herself. There is a sense of belonging. She has been welcomed, of course, and that breaks the ice. She feels more warmly towards the neighborhood already. And now that she knows that this is the cleanest neighborhood in town, she's so proud to be here. Uh, Pride and ownership are so important in each one of us. So we have tried to integrate all these concepts, and she will participate in as one of the residents. It's not that she's saying, oh, I'm new here, why should I do all this? No, she will be going to the mela the next day, and then she will be trying from day one to keep her neighborhood clean. um, with that, we now come to slide 9 and the second story. It's called The Best Birthday Gift. This was the first, the sample chapter I did, and for me, it was a challenge. I'm not saying that even for me, as a trained teacher and a story writer, storyteller, an author, that it was a cakewalk to do these books. It was not. I would be exaggerating if I said, oh, it's a breeze. There is because we are not just doing a random story. Very often, as authors, also, even if we are not doing educational books, now more and more publishers are giving us what they want through that story. So there is a roadmap to that story, and while I find that very helpful, it also makes me think more. It's not just a question of a spontaneous story. I do keep a list of stories that I've liked and would maybe that are, the ideas that have come into my mind. You may keep a list of stories as teachers that you have liked and would want to narrate to your students, because, oh yes, this one, Nancy the spider, the story, the famous story from Africa, this goes well with this. Or an Akbar and Birbal story, this goes well with that chapter. But when I'm writing a fresh story to these words, to a set curriculum, it needs me to be very disciplined. I'm given a word limit. The story cannot be endless. It has to fit into a grid and yet have that joy and spontaneity. All right. So we come to the best birthday gift. Today is my birthday, says Minnie, my favorite character in this book. Happy birthday, Minnie, my mother wakes me up. Before I can say thank you, Ma, there the P's and Q's are coming in. Someone wishes you, you say thank you. Um, I hear the birthday song. At the door to my room, I see my father. With him are my mother's brother and his wife. They are my uncle and my aunt. They sing the birthday song for me. What a lovely way for a child to wake up with a loving family around her. My aunt gives me a hug and a doll. So the hug and the doll are mentioned in the same sentence. They are both so lovely to receive. Thank you. I hug them all back. I jump out of bed and run upstairs. Ours is a big house. Now, here we are doing different types of houses also. We are introducing learners to the different types of neighborhoods and houses. Uh, Ours is a big house. It is also an old house. Now, this is the true story of many Indian neighborhoods where uh, people are not yet living in apartments. They are living in these rambling houses, which are large, but then they are older than the apartments. My grandmother and grandfather live here. They are my mother's parents. As I said, we are breaking some stereotypes. We are in, we are incorporating DEI. We are a big family, so we live in a big house. Yes, logical. Grandmother has my favorite sweets on a plate. Oh my. Now, we don't give our children here too many sweets, but yes, your birthday is a special day, Minnie. You get to eat some sweets. She makes them only for me, but I share them with everyone at home. I share and I care. And also, apart from sharing, I don't eat them all myself. I mean, bad for my teeth. I know that. I'm mini. I thank my grandparents. We eat the sweets together. Then I wash the plate clean. I am a responsible child. I may be just that high, but in grade one, but I do chores around the house that are age appropriate. I will not harm myself washing the plate, so I'm permitted to do that and I'm encouraged to do that. I wipe it with a clean cloth. I'm learning basic hygiene. I put it away on the dish rack. So I know the lay of the kitchen, the wet area in the kitchen. Thank you, Minnie, smiles my mother. I love to hear that. So I also help her wash vegetables before they are cooked. My uncle chops them up. He says he loves to cut vegetables. Does that remind you of someone you know? My father shops for those vegetables. Grandfather goes with him. So grandfather goes with his son-in-law to buy the vegetables. Oh, now if that is confusing, a family tree tells us how all the members of a family are related to each other. And we have our family tree. My father's parents live in another city. They live with my father's brother. We take a train to go and meet them. Today, they are coming to wish me for my birthday. So, families take the trouble to be together, to travel to on special occasions, and Minnie's birthday is very special. My father and I will get their room ready. I have made paper flowers to keep in their room. How wonderful! Yoo-hoo! Tonight I will play with one, two, three, four grandparents. What a blessing! Happy birthday, Minnie, shouts my friend and neighbor, Roby. I wave to them from the window. Roby has a sister. She is a year old. Her name is Tina. Again, a short name. The four of them live in a small house. It is just right for their small family. Roby and Tina have a pet cat. Guess what her name is? Meow. We also discuss here the role of pets in a family. We are going to the rose garden for my birthday party. So, taking children outdoors is important. It's not just sitting in a cafe and celebrating. That could be one way, but another way, if the weather is pleasant and if you have that provision in your town or city or neighborhood or village, is to take them out. I hold the car door open for my grandparents. Thank you, Minnie, says my grandmother. I hold my grandfather's walking stick so that he can sit in the car. I sit between them. I am careful that I do not hurt them. So I may be that high, but I know that they may get hurt if I'm fidgety or if I'm not careful. I am a responsible child. My mother drives the car. My aunt sits next to her. My father and my uncle wave to us. We will take the bus, they say. So we are also doing the different modes of transport. What means of transport? This is the Ask Me section. What means of transport do you use to visit nearby places? Tell your partner. Robbie and his parents follow us on a scooter. Yet another mode of transport. His mother holds Tina. Robbie holds a red box. Oh wow, mystery. Remember, we were talking about the 5 C's of storytelling? We need that little bit of mystery. I know that box has a gift for me. That's one of the best parts of a birthday, of course, those gifts and wondering what's in that box. We reach the rose garden. I want to jump out to play, but I wait for my grandparents to get out of the car. Learning to wait. Learning to wait for those who may not be as fast or agile as we are. Grandmother hugs me. Thanks, you're the best girl I know, Minnie. Robbie gives me the red box. Open it, he says with a big grin. Now, the person giving a gift is also full of joy. It is fun to get a gift, but isn't it fun to give a gift also and then wait for the reaction, of the recipient? It has a headband. There is one word written on it. Best. Wear it, wear it, wear it, squeals Roby. I wear the band. Roby points to his head. Oh, he's wearing the same headband. His too has just one word written on it. Friend. Photo time, says Roby. I stand to Roby's left. Now, this part is the little mystery part. A strange voice says, let me help you take the photo. I look around. I see a man I do not know. Do you know him? Hey, Roby, do you know him? I'm not going to be rude without finding out. He may be a friend of Roby's father's. No, says Roby, I don't know him. Minnie says, thank you, but no thank you. I grab Roby's arm. We run to my father. So we know what to do to stand our ground and then to run to safety when we are accosted by a stranger. Of course, the Ask Me section says, what would you do if you were in Minnie and Roby's place? Discuss in the class. Through the story, we are introducing important discussions. My father laughs. I don't know why he is laughing. Do you? Wait, says my father. He makes me stand near a rose bush full of red roses. What a beautiful photograph it will make when they are themselves, perhaps grandparents. They will look at that. The rose bush would have long gone, perhaps, and many other characters in the story may have long gone, but the memories stay on. He asks Roby to stand to my left. My left. But I was standing to Roby's left. Oh. Now, heads together, please, he says. Why does he say that? My father takes the photograph. It says, best friend. Thank you, we shout together. He shows the photograph to us. Do you know what I read? Best friend. Ruby and I. And of course, then there are these exercises you would find in a textbook. There is space to write and draw, as NEP and NCF have been suggesting, incorporating different methods of expression, integrating learning. It's got it all. Now, I need a breather and I'm coming back to the third story. The third story is at slide 13. All right. It's chapter 9 in book 2, part B. It says, who should rabbit ask for help? We are doing, of course, that word help gives it away. We are doing people who help us. But there are different ways to introduce it, and we thought of this one. Write the first letter of the picture in the space provided and form the names of some community helpers. Well, we start with a bang, getting those brains ticking, and then we come on the second page to the story. And I read from the story. The teacher asked us to think of different professions. Profession? Profession. What a big word, said Anu. The teacher laughingly said, a profession is the work you do, Anu, when you grow up. Sorry, I became a teacher. People work to earn money to spend on many things. They work to be happy and to live a better life. Why can't I have a profession now? Cried Anu. My parents have professions, so she gets the word. Anu's father is a chef who makes the best idli sambar. Her mother is a fashion designer who makes pretty dresses. It is your age to study and play. You have to learn how to work, said teacher. So it happens with all age groups, I guess. We now that we are working, so many of us say so much of the time, "Oh, I wish I could go back to school," and students often say, "Oh, when will I get out of school and start going to work? Look at my parents, what fun they have. They don't have a care in the world." So it is your age for studying and playing. You have to learn how to work, said the teacher. If a person lets you work for money, lets you, little you, Anu, the police will catch him or her because you are not yet 14 years of age. That is child labor. So Anu is wiser. But you can think of your profession now. I like to play. Can I play all my life? Asks Iman. Of course, you can be a sports person and play a sport of your choice to earn money. So we do the amateur and professional angle also here. I can be a cricketer, a footballer, or a swimmer, says Iman. And there he's imagining himself as a cricketer with the helmet on for safety, the footballer kicking a football, and the swimmer. We go on to the next page. Let me tell you a story about an owl and a rabbit, said the teacher. Now, teacher comes straight to the story, but the lesson does not start with the story. The lesson starts with the teacher introducing a big, heavy word, profession, and now she is coming into the story part. Once upon a time, the teacher told us there was a rabbit, and the rabbit was very worried. Can you help? I have a huge problem, she asked the owl. Owls are in plenty in my stories. I just think they are so wise. I mean, they may be otherwise, but I adore owls and I see them in nooks and crannies of uh, unfinished buildings, broken buildings, oh, in trees, in the holes of trees. So, yes, says Owl, I'm reading about people who help us, so I can help you. If you have a huge problem, said the owl, go and ask those who protect the borders, the soldiers. If you have a huge problem with your safety, go ask the soldiers. They protect us from any danger that may come through land, water, and air. Us naval officials who protect our seas, they stay on ships that may have many arms and weapons, said the owl. Ask the Air Force personnel who protect the skies. They fly fighter jets. Shoo. Ask the army officials who protect our lands from enemy attacks. They fight with guns and other weapons, said the owl, feeling very important. The rabbit shook her head. Oh, my problem is not with enemies, but it is still a big problem. The owl said, if you have a problem in your home, visit the carpenter. The carpenter can build you some nice furniture. Maybe you don't have furniture. Yes, rabbit. If you want some changes to your home, you can visit a mason. Yes, the mason will break down something that you don't like anymore and build what you want. Maybe you want the wall higher, or you want the wall lower, or you want a shelf here. An electrician can put up bright lights in your home, rabbit. Yes, a plumber can fix any leaking taps in the kitchen. A gardener can grow you some plants to eat and to enjoy, of course, but Owl may not have thought of that. And a driver can drive you around in your car. The rabbit shook her head harder. My problem is not related to my home. Really, Owl. Before she could say anything, the owl went on. Now, Owl is on a roll. Newfound knowledge has to be shared. Before she could say anything, the owl went on. If you are sick, see a doctor. If you have hurt yourself and need a bandage, see a nurse. If you have got toothache from chewing on too many carrots, see a dentist. If you need a haircut, visit a barber. Chick, 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 chick. You can also visit a lawyer, an architect, a farmer, a greengrocer, an astronaut, an artist. Duck, duck, duck. He goes on and on. Oh, stop, says the rabbit. Just stop. Listen. It's important to listen. My problem is that I have to send a card to my new friend, the hippo. I don't know how to spell the word hippo. Oh, go and see the teacher then. A teacher will teach you how to read and write and help you learn many new things, screeched the owl. Well, there you are. We have covered several professions, and of course, we have left a lot of space and scope for to discuss many more. And with that, we come to slide 16. Uh, it's our fourth and last story, and we are just about in time. This is also from book 2B. Um, Chapter 13. It's called Every Clean Drop Counts. It is raining. I don't like it when it rains. Ruby and I cannot go out to play. So you see, Minnie is the heroine of the books. She is the teller of these tales. The girl child is holding forth. Now, I know a lot of us out there will say, oh, but that is wrong. I love the rains. But then there are so many children who say, rain, rain, go away, come again another day. little Minnie wants to play, right? So this is for children like that. My grandmother sees our gloomy faces. To cheer us up, she brings us lemonade and tells us this story. Now, these two children have been encouraged to go outdoors and play rather than sit with their devices or sit glued uh, to a screen. And the day they cannot go out, they are a little glum. Now, here is grandmother's story. There was a little cloud, light and white. She was made up of a small collection of drops of water. One day she was roaming around. May we join you for a ride? Asked the drops of water from a pond. Hop on, said the little cloud, hospitable. May we join you for a ride? Asked the drops of water from a lake. We are doing evaporation. Hop on, said the little cloud. Hey, 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 may we join you for a ride? Asked the drops of water from a waterfall. Oh, yes, hop on, said the little cloud. The cloud grew in size and became big, heavy, and dark. We started with a fluffy little light white cloud. Now, with all her hospitality and her generosity, she's giving a lift to so many drops of water from so many different water sources. See what we've done? She's changed a lot. She's become big, heavy, and dark. She moved slowly now. No more scudding along the blue skies. Sorry, but some of you will need to get off my back, she huffed. Yeah, she's out of breath. She never bargained for this. But then now she has to offload some of her friends. The drops of water knew they had to leave the cloud. That free ride is over. Plip, plop, plop. Onomatopoeia. I just love onomatopoeic words, and they come into so many of my stories. They make so much of an impact when you're teaching something. They fell as raindrops over forests and fields, over rivers, seas, and oceans, over drains and roads. So, in one sentence, we have covered, again covering the curriculum, the syllabus, so important for us as teachers. We have covered where they are falling. As the raindrops flew over cold mountains, they rose and fell as snowflakes. Well, it's snowing just north of me, and I can so relate to what is happening. um, there are, of course, factopedias on these pages also. Some water bodies get water from the rain, others get water from the melting of the snow in the mountains. So this would have been a typical traditional uh, chapter. Many such facts put together, but we have chosen the story method. Now, before I get lost, let me come to the next slide. The cloud looked down and spoke to the raindrops. Don't forget, every living being needs you. Yes, so be fair. As far as you can be fair. They need water to drink, to brush their teeth, to cook, bathe, wash their clothes, and homes. Every seed, don't forget the seeds. They need water to grow into a plant or a tree. Why we need water, the importance of water. That is how one raindrop met the little paper boat. There was this little paper boat in the story. Now comes a twist. The little paper boat stood where a small stream had dried up because of lack of rain. I need water to float, cried the boat. Here we are, said the raindrops. The raindrop called her friends down. Come along, this little paper boat needs our help. The stream was full again, and the paper boat sailed again, singing happily, tra la la. I'm floating again, I'm sailing along. The paper boat sailed on from the stream onto the clear blue water of a river. As the river went down to meet the ocean, big drains from villages, towns, and cities let out unclean, smelly water into it. Oh dear, the water got dirty. People empty their waste into the rivers. Factories and mills throw their waste materials into rivers and ponds. Some people even wash their dirty clothes and utensils in rivers or ponds. Not blaming anyone. If that's their only source of water, where else would they go? All the waste materials from factories, dirt from animal bodies, and soap from washing clothes in rivers mix with the clean water in water bodies, making it dirty, grumbled the river. This is just the river's perspective. When waste materials are thrown into water bodies, they make the river unclean. This is the fact part. This is called water pollution. We say that water is polluted. These waste materials are pollutants. Well, now remember the paper boat? We're going back to the story. Stop, said the paper boat. Stop, stop, stop. I don't want to go into the ocean. I'm a tiny little paper boat. I'm not a huge ocean liner. I'm not a huge big ship. But the river could not stop. It just wished people did not throw garbage and waste material into the drains. Dirty water is bad for all living beings. Drinking dirty water can make everyone sick and unhealthy. This is why grandmother tells us that we must drink clean water. She says we must boil or filter water before drinking it. And do you think the paper boat is successful in stopping her journey? No, of course. The river goes into the ocean. With it, the little paper boat goes in. Well, we also discuss we should not waste water when we brush our teeth. She also says, grandmother says, that we must use water stored in a bucket for bathing if we can, or of course, if we want to use the shower, use it judiciously and not go on singing an entire song. You know how so many of us are bathroom singers. If we must throw water out, we must see if it is suitable to water plants or clean the house with. Grandmother also says we must avoid using a hose for watering plants or cleaning vehicles. All right, so uh, that is how we built a story and about the paper boat, discussing so many things. I've read out the whole chapter, not just a story, to give you an idea how fact and fiction are woven into the chapter through a lot of the facts come in from Minnie's telling the reader a story. So that's another perspective, story within a story. Grandmother's was the story within a story. We come to the end of my third session. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope a lot of you are going to be incorporating a multi-dimensional approach to your lessons as NEP, NCF nudge us to do. In fact, we will be dropping the links to the NEP and NCF documents because we are so excited to be guided by something like that. That is bringing in experiential learning into our classrooms. We have used those navarasas that we discussed yesterday, anger, love, fear. Uh, use those hastamudras, the deer. Try using that with shadow background. That is so magical. And the simple stories like the bud and the bee, Remember, if you were with us yesterday, can be told in a classroom without much preparation if you just practice some of these mudras, because our uh, uh, our Indian heritage is so full of different ways to tell stories. That brings us back to the first day when we discussed there are so many different media through which you can tell stories. Not all are through words. Thank you very much. If there are any questions or doubts, I would love to take them now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Participants, if you have any questions or queries, please drop them in the chat box so that ma'am can take them up.
Yeah. Any?
No, ma'am, just the positive feedback for you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It means a lot because we want to share the little that we know with all of you and make your classrooms buzz with excitement.
Uh,
Would you like to read out a few names? And we have a
yeah, sure, ma'am. Charu has mentioned, all the concepts are clear, no doubt. Then Jofina, thank you, ma'am. Anshu, thank you, ma'am.
thank you.
Vidya, thank you so much. Tamil Selvan, thank you, ma'am. It's a wonderful session. Bhagirathi, thank you, ma'am. We also immersed in your story. Sirika, Priyanka, amazing. Yeah, there's just one question. If the students were long absent for many days, if they are for getting everything, how to recall?
Through stories, do you mean? I'm not sure of the question. How to recall? I would say so. There was a time, again, story. I missed a lot of school, and it's a very good question because I fell ill. And till then, I was topping in science subjects, but this was the end of the academic year, and nobody could help me. The concept of taking extra classes or uh, helping me during the lunch break perhaps did not occur. It wasn't there in those days. And after that, I started, I landed at the bottom of the pile for science subjects. And looking back, it is a huge regret. I just wish my parents tried a lot, but I wish the teachers had recognized that just because I'm a topper does not mean that 2 months in bed would not make a difference to me. They did. I was blank. So if the teacher had anticipated that and maybe taken me aside, guided me a little, perhaps through quick notes or got me a mentor in class, another student to help me during before this class or after or during recess, that may have helped. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a lovely session. Thanks a lot. I hope all the participants have gained knowledge of how to tell a story and everything. Thank you to all the participants for keeping this session engaging and fun. And please remember that we have a quiz tomorrow after the final session, and the winners will have the chance to win Amazon vouchers worth up to rupees 25,000. And also, once again, if you haven't received your old certificates, don't worry, you will get them by next week. So, everyone, have a fantastic evening and see you tomorrow for the final sessions. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, ma'am.
So much.